Knight. Ooh, gosh, Queen A7. Again, very, very nasty threat.
So that's where the queen was heading to.
Queen G7 and Knight F6 would be a checkmating pattern. And Rook takes D5 and Rook D7. Now material has swung into White's favor, but Magnus has eliminated this beastly knight. Knight, Rook D7, Queen B8. This looks like a win for Hikaru. King comes to E3 now.
Black's pieces are tied down.
King E3, Rook C7.
King to F4.
Yes, the king is going to make its way to F6. Then we go Queen B2 to H8, and it's going to be checkmate.
Check, King G5.
The king is going to make its way, let's say, to F8, and then you bring your queen to B2. And Magnus, recognizing that, has just played the move. I've got to refresh the board. Pardon me.
Check, King G5 and King D7.
I wonder what my heart rate is.
22 seconds for Magnus. You need a heart rate monitor on. Yes, sir.
Is there a cardiologist in the house? I'm looking at my live audience for assistance here. And look what he's done. He's gone Queen A7 check, Queen to E3. He's about to bring his king to F6 so he can go Queen E7 mate. Magnus in great trouble. King F6, King C7, and Magnus is still hanging in there. Oh my goodness. Okay, so King F6, King C7, King E7. Your king can be a bully in such positions, because you can't take on D5. There'll be a Queen A7 check. Ooh.
But in that position, he still had bishop to B7 after Rook D5, Queen A7. This is an incredible defense by Magnus Carlsen, still holding this position with 15 seconds on the clock.
Well, Magnus famously said, "I don't believe in fortresses. He better start believing." Oh, he has allowed the loss of both his F5 pawns and his G4 pawn, giving White a passer. But on the other hand, Magnus's intention is to give up his bishop for the G pawn and try to play queen versus rook and 2 pawns. We know a queen and rook easily wins for the queen, but if Magnus can hold his 2 pawns, that would be incredible. And he's just played a move, bishop to D3. Let me see. No, my board does not want to update it. Oh, it is updated. Bishop D3. So we're... So
yeah, we are good. Both the blue board and the brown board are showing now the current position. The pawn is already on G5. And as you mentioned, Black will want to give up the bishop for the G pawn.
Exactly. I'm thinking Rook F5 check is the problem at the moment. Okay, if I go E6, Rook F5 check, King E6, I've got Rook E5 check. He has played it. They are playing into the variation. And now is it time? We don't have to give up the bishop quite yet. After Rook E5 check, King F7 is the live. Well, maybe we do. I don't think we should play too many games here. Maybe it's time just to play bishop takes G6 and C. And he has done it. He's given up his bishop. So we've got the ending of queen and rook versus 2 pawns. Queen versus rook and 2 pawns.
Is this a fortress?
No. I don't think it is. I think the queen comes to A6. The problem is it would be a fortress if the pawn was on D7 and the rook were on C6 and the pawn were on E6. The fact that the pawn is on D6 means that the queen can get you from behind. In the immortal words of Larry Christensen. That's a bad one, says Sunil. I agree. But it's so bad it's actually good, you know.
The queen is there, as you mentioned, coming from behind, Queen A8.
And Magnus doing his best to maintain a connection with his C6 pardon me, his d6 and a5 pawns.
And we have a brilliant producer, Peter, who already knows the table-based evaluation. You are right, Yasser. Always right.
No, not
it's
always.
Winning.
But my agents and bots are out there to help me. And this is the problem. You see that the queen did come from behind. Queen b7 check, followed by king e6. Magnus is going to lose one of the pawns because the rook on c5, it will be undermined after d5, king d6. The time, a minute for Hikaru, less than a minute, 20 seconds.
Magnus has collected some time with the increment. Heart rate is increasing for both players in this last minute of the game.
And now we have just a queen and rook. Ooh, but okay, I wasn't 100. Did Hikaru do that right? The problem with these endings is sometimes it really requires some extraordinary precision, surprising at times. But I think he's done it right. He's going to be able to play queen a1 check, kick, or even there are threats of checkmate now. King c5, threatening queen a1 checkmate has been played. Rook b2
prevents the mate, but now after queen to e4, is that?
Queen to e4 has been played.
Rook b3 back.
Okay,
and the
something
table
like
base
queen
still
c2
says it's winning.
Oh, for sure. But like I say, Hikaru down to 40 seconds, kind of having an experience that Magnus had yesterday. He needs to play for the win, but he has to do it in Magnus.
Second time the same position. Don't repeat so many times, Hikaru. Queen c4 now.
Whoa. Have we seen a 3-move repetition?
It was 2 times.
It was 2 times. Thank you, Anna.
According to my mental count, which is never 100% accurate.
No, you have my complete faith. Complete faith
20
and
seconds
trust.
versus 47 seconds, 5-second increment for those of you who are about to get a heart attack.
120 for Hikaru, 98 seconds. I don't know if it's lagging, but we're down to 5 for Magnus, and Rook b1. Wow, he really went down to his seconds. Did you see that?
Yeah, he was about to lose on time. When it's 0-0-0, that's just the time that
And
it takes
now
to
it's
update.
winning.
He's not
Queen
really
c3.
He hasn't lost on time.
Oh, look at that! A stalemate!
The most resilient defense confirmed by table base.
Stalemate.
Wow.
Stalemate, you can't take the rook. Black has no moves. Oh, that was crafty. Oh, that was a real nasty shock. I wonder if Hikaru's heart jumped on that one. Mine did. It was like, what was the rook?
They are playing amazingly accurate. Rook b1 was the best defense, and queen d2 as well, the best move by Hikaru. Amazing, amazing.
Thanks to our audience for keeping us up with the table bases, because this is really, really key. It's vital that Hikaru win this game.
For
He's
the
down
match score, yes.
yeah,
So
he's
3-point
down
lead for
3.
Magnus.
Oh, he could have gone king c3 check. Instead, he moved his queen. Why didn't he bring his king closer to the action with a check?
I have no idea. I thought that's why he played this setup. Now he's
I did
threatening the
too.
same.
Why didn't he do that?
Okay,
King
now
c3.
again. Now again.
King c3, Hikaru.
Is there something we are missing in that position?
Okay,
He's
he
going
did it.
for it.
Okay. Now, this should be easy. Check. Should be. Easy for me to say.
That's the way. That's the way to do it.
Okay, I think Hikaru's idea was king c2. So how does he want to do it after? Whoa.
He has built quite some time, Hikaru, so now he can think
a minute,
a little bit.
Very important. Sorry, that's a very important factor, is the clock, always. And so it's always nice to gain some extra seconds. And now Hikaru is ready to play king c2, and on rook check, king c1, there's no rook b1 check. Very important. And now we've got queen pinning the rook. Queen pins the rook, king, and now queen to c3. Oh.
Staircase.
A staircase. King, queen d4, king up, queen c3.
It's gone to d3.
I'm not sure.
Is this still winning?
Yes, it is. Wow. Wow. Okay, and now queen d3. Zugzwang.
Wow.
Zugzwang.
Beautifully played.
The rook has to move. The king can't move because the a pawn needs protection. So now Magnus has to move his rook, but he has to move it not to a square where it can be forked. G2 allows queen d5 check, spearing the rook.
Yeah, so
So
rook
Magnus
b3, queen c4.
4, and rook b8, putting the rook on a dark square while the king. Okay, so now how do we win it? Oh my gosh, I'm being told that it's a theoretical draw.
At some point it was, but I'm not sure it's still the case. It is
It's still a
theoretical
draw. Oh my word. And Magnus just playing on increments, saving
Wow.
a very difficult. Oh, that would be what? Oh my! What a.
So once the pawn gets to a3, it's a draw, is it?
The question that Sunil has asked our audience is, when the pawn got to a3, was that when it became a draw, or was it still a win when the pawn was on a4?
It could be the case that it's with the pawn on a3, but we will need to look into this deeper. Now, with just seconds on the clock, I think we shall see how Hikaru tries to win this.
He's got to set
all the
up some
time in the
kind of
world
a
to try.
trick.
Yeah,
I don't really see where.
He needs some kind of a check back and forth. This is still a practical game.
Exactly. So we could go something like queen d5 check, I was going to say. He has played queen f5, stopping rook c8, but rook b2 immediately by Magnus. And Magnus has played king a1, queen a2. Magnus can give a couple of checks and force white's king to c3, which he has done. King b1 by Magnus. My word. Queen d5. Hikaru just, well, we know he's going to move his queen. Queen a7, queen a4. Okay, he's doing his best to make it as difficult for Magnus as possible. Magnus still having to find some very difficult moves with 14 seconds. Ooh. King a1. Magnus is reaching for his king.
B3 and B2? Oh no, B2
he
immediately.
Did play B2. Oh yeah, rook b3 check, I think. Queen. So rook b3 check and rook b2. Magnus gaining precious 10 seconds with the inclusion of those two moves. Wow, if he saves this.
What an escape. Although Hikaru has also done the Houdini several times.
Absolutely. It just goes to show at this elite level how incredibly difficult
and their will for survival in no matter what the circumstances are.
Exactly. Queen h8. Well, one of the nice things about the move queen h8, you don't have to worry about 3-time repetition. Queen has never visited that square. and rook back to b2. Gosh, I just don't see any way for Hikaru to put any further tricks. Magnus has found each and every time.
He's very calm. It's incredible how Magnus, even in the toughest of situations, can still calm himself down. No time, tough position to defend, and still, the guy is just
amazing. He is really an extraordinary player. And now Hikaru again is searching for an opportunity to bring his king back to c1. I'm not exactly too sure what the penalty might be if Magnus was to say, I'm going to play the move rook, king a1 and claim a draw because of its 3-move repetition. I can only imagine that Hikaru would gain some extra time.
Yes, there's a time penalty if your claim is incorrect.
That's right. But other than that, I mean, it very well may be that this is a 3-time. What does your instinct tell you, Anna? Rook b8. We've seen this position before.
I'm being told that it's not about the 3-fold repetition, but that we have passed the 15-move rule 10 moves ago.
Oh, really? I hadn't even kept my eye on that. But
this is just going too fast. But I don't think Magnus will claim. Maybe at some point he will realize that they have made 100 moves, but
okay,
the arbiter can intervene after 75 moves.
Precisely. So even though we know it's a 50-move rule, if the players continue to play till 75 moves beyond the last capture or pawn move, then the arbiter can inform the players, but not before. Ooh.
Almost.
Almost. That was a big check. So again, I don't know what the penalty might be. I can't imagine it's anything more severe than 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute. I mean, Magnus should, and by the way, 47 seconds to 6 seconds.
Yeah, Magnus has built time on the clock and not
Hikaru. It would be extraordinary if Magnus were to win this game.
On time?
Yes, exactly. It'd almost be a complete role reversal of what we saw yesterday evening in that dramatic final. And 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I think Hikaru had...
I'm being told that our move count was not correct, that it still hasn't been 50 moves.
Oh, 137.
Now I don't know to whom who shall I believe? I'm being told 2 different facts. Okay, and it's a claim, I think, by
Magnus is going
Carlsen.
Magnus is going to claim
the 3-fold repetition.
That he will play the move rook b8, and that he's forced to play the move rook b8 now, and that he's going to say to the arbiter, you figure it out. Let's go to the playing hall to see if the players are discussing.
I think on the 8-4 is the draw already. I mean, with the rook.
Yeah, no, I thought it was winning.
We cannot take a long break even after this. So I think but 5 minutes.
Okay.
Kan jeg spørre deg om å fortsette nå? Ja. Da kan vi være med.
What? Defense by Magnus. We just couldn't believe that he survived.
Well, I actually learned something here about a basic ending, and shame on me, because I really should know it. Essentially, what I'm being told is basically, yes, this is a table base win, and right here, it's a table base win. But when Magnus was able to advance his pawn to a3, that was when things have gone south. So basically here, king c5, rook b2, queen here, everything is okay.
He cannot come closer with the king, so he moves the queen.
Okay.
A little bit of back and forth.
Action. Action.
And again. Yeah, somewhere here he could not improve his position.
Oh, this is where we saw this dramatic moment of stalemate, right?
Yes.
Right. And now here, somehow he has allowed black to play a3 in a short moment. And that was when, right, no, still not.